And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and we are back with part 3. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 cards that you can buy for under 10k MT in NBA 2K21 My Team. This is for all my budget ballers out there. First, we're going to start with some honorable mentions, and cards above 10k, so 10 to 50k, will be over on the top 10 cards you can buy for under 50k list. Go check that out if you haven't. It'll be linked at the end of the video. I also did one for cards under 100k, so 50k to 100k as well. Not too much overlap on those, but you can go check it out if you do want it. So number one honorable mention would be Karl Anthony Towns. Like, I've talked about this card a bunch of times, and the reason he's not in the top 10 just because I've included him in the last 2 of these lists that I've done. And he's still good. Like, he's a great rebounder. He's got a good player build, excellent jump shot. Nothing wrong with this card. I've just talked about him way too much, but he's still good. Most of you guys have him. So next up in the honorable mention section would be Joe Smith. This card gets 0 love, and I don't understand it, to be honest. 6'10", big wingspan. Like, Joe Smith is huge. If you remember, he was one of the early combo forwards, before combo forwards were kind of all the rage in the early 2000s and now. Other than that, great stats, good tendencies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this card. Excellent badge count. Like, he doesn't really need anything specifically. The 93 pointer with 90 speed isn't great. He's got base 22. Joe Smith has base 22, so he has one of the best releases in the game, in my opinion. Is it the fastest release? No. But this release, I promise you, makes more whites than any release in the game. It's the same release that Chris Mullin has, Kirk Heinrich, Rex Chapman, Jack Sikma, Andrew Wiggins. Like, this release is fire. No question about it. But I still think there are enough issues with him that he's outside of the top 10. Next up is a really, really cheap card. Okay, it's just not showing up for some reason. But Wes Unseld from the Enshrined set. Like, this card is no joke. He's great. For an Amethyst, like, this dude is ridiculous for an Amethyst. Okay, I actually got to go find him over here in the Enshrined set. That's fine. You can get this card for basically discard value. Like, this Wes Unseld you can get for nothing. He's a 6'7" power forward. Now, is he good enough to crack your best lineup? Maybe not. Maybe in some cases if you're having a really, really hard body budget lineup. But, like, for a card that's discard value, I don't think you can do much better. He's 6'7", like I said. Not that huge, but he's got a wide, stocky player build. Upper 80s in majority of stats, including, like, ball handling, three-pointer, driving dunk. 90 speed isn't terrible. He does move pretty well. Badge-wise, there's nothing. And as far as release, like, Kobe Bryant released with the release 70 upper, which is the same as, like, Junior Bridgman and John Collins. Like, on quick, Kobe Bryant release is great. This year, it's not like last year where gold quick draw, it was better than with Hoff quick draw. Like, it's still better on very quick, but the card itself is great. He doesn't really need any badges. He has a great release. Nothing wrong. Another honorable mention would be Diamond Jordan. This Diamond Jordan card does need some badges upgrade for sure. Like, no question about it, but this is an elite level Jordan card for 5-6K. That's all I really got to say about that. If you want an MJ that's going to play at an elite level for cheap, there you go. And the final card in honorable mention would be Gerald Green. I've talked about him like a bunch of times. I don't think he's quite good enough at this point to crack the top 10 just with the cards that we have. But Gerald Green's a beast. And for future diamond or under challenges and limited and stuff like that, or if you're just wanting a nice card for triple threat that you can pick up for cheap and is going to be effective, Gerald Green is no joke. He shoots well. He dunks over everybody. Sick. Number 10. Come on, man. You knew this was coming. Like, my personal preference would be to put Kyle Korver way higher on this list because he's just a monster, dude. On next gen, he's significantly higher up. On current gen, this is why he's down at 10. He's not the greatest on current gen. He's relatively good, but on next gen, he's an absolute monster. With Hall of Fame blinders for a card that's under 10K, that's crazy. But he's fast, he plays defense, he dunks, he has a 99 three-pointer, great tendencies, 6'7" with a decent wingspan. Kyle Korver release is absolutely fire this year. It's so easy to green. And as far as how many whites it makes, pretty average, but it's really easy to green in my opinion. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. Badges-wise, he's complete. 31 Hoffs, 20 golds. I think it's a little bit less over on current gen. I believe it's 28 Hoffs, 21 golds, which is fine. card's a beast. Like, there's nothing wrong with this card whatsoever. He is a complete card that you can get for under 10K. Number 9 would be Boris Diaw. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Boris Diaw. If you're looking for a combo forward that can do a little bit of everything, he can play both positions well. He can defend. He's got good size. He can handle the ball. He can move. He can shoot. My man Boris is out here for you. As far as putting together a budget squad, you can't really do much better at the combo forward position than Boris Diaw. He's that good. So, number 8. Another card I'm not going to spend an incredible amount of time talking about, and that's just because I have talked about this card the last 2 times I've done these lists. And that's Tyrese Halliburton, like the diamond point guard. And to a certain extent, over on next gen, I would put Malcolm Brogdon right here on this 8 slot, tied with him too. He's not that great on current gen, but on next gen, he really is that good. So I would say him and Tyrese Halliburton deserve to share the 8 spot if we're talking strictly next gen. If we're talking current gen, Tyrese is a little bit better. So Halliburton's a beast, like, no question about it. Great jump shot, great badges, can curry slide all over the place. Super annoying if you try to play in that fashion. You're good. And he is a kind of a hot commodity in the NBA too, so you get to use a card that's relatively hyped as well for cheap. That's always fun. Next up, we got Magic. Another card I've talked about multiple times. Look, the cards that I've just talked about, the 4, are so good that there's no point in kicking them out of the top 10 because they're literally that good. You could argue maybe MJ's better than 1 or 2 of these guys and deserves to be up here. I personally think Joe Smith is definitely deserves to be up here, but I understand a lot of people don't want him, and I get that. But Magic's the epitome of what you'd want in a point forward. The only issue I have with Magic is his jumper, but I'm fine with it, but I know it's not the easiest jump shot to just kind of pick up and get used to. Like, it's not like a meta jump shot in that way. It's a specialty jump shot, but an elite ball handler definitely can help your team out. Next up would be Pink Diamond Poku. Now, look, I'll be completely honest. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of this card. And I'll talk about his negatives as well. But as far as guys that you can buy for under 10K that are 7 feet tall and have a massive wingspan, like, I don't think you can do too much better than Poku. Like, 91 three-pointer, 90 standing, 90 driving dunk. Like I say, 7 feet tall. Is he really from Greece? I don't know. For some reason, I thought he was from, like, Slovenia or something. Slovenia, even a country? Honestly, I don't know. Lithuania, whatever. 86 ball handle, 88 passing accuracy. He's very complete, like very well-rounded. Over on current gen, he's got 33 hops, 21 golds. Great badges. He has a dynamic duo with Lou Dort. Doesn't really do much, so it's not something I recommend doing. This card is just well-rounded to a T. Jump shot 30 is Scottie Pippen's release, so he does have Pippen's release, which I'm not a huge fan of on Poku. I love it on Pippen. I'm not a big fan of it on Poku for some reason. So he does have kind of that slower release, so it's something to get used to, but my man can curry slide all over the place. He's huge. He's not the best rebounder either, I will say, and he does miss a few badges that you'd like him to have in regards to interior scoring. You'd want him to have a few of these, like at this point. Like, Deadeye is important for him to have, especially with having that slower release. When a card has a slow release like that, you need them to have Deadeye for them to be effective. That's just a fact, because you're going to get closed out on a lot more. Honestly, I'd like to see him with maybe lightning reflexes too, but he's pretty complete, all things considered, so he definitely deserves to be in the 6th spot. Number 5 would be a card that I love, man. Trevor Ariza. He's massive. Like, Trevor Ariza is huge. I was about to say only 6'8", but like, I mean, all things considered, like 6'8" with his player build, he looks so much bigger. 31 hops, 25 golds over on current, 94 three-pointer. As far as badges that you'd really want to give him, not too many that he needs, like Deadeye, but he does have kind of a faster release, so it's not necessary to a certain extent. If you want him to get in there and get big playing TTO and stuff, you need to give him like Box and Worm. But other than that, super complete. Jump shot 32, which is the same release as Opal Rondo, which is a great release. Excellent defender. Like, he's a pure 3-and-D guy. I mean, you can dribble a little bit with him, but at the same time, if you're looking for a pure 3-and-D cone that's going to be able to lock down some of the better shooting guards in the game, while at the same time being able to shoot at a high clip and shoot over people at a high clip, you can't do much better than Trevor Ariza. Like, there's a reason he gets as much hype as he does. And honestly, I feel like he is very effective on both gens, which definitely is a boost. I mean, it doesn't matter which gen you have, Trevor Ariza for that price is definitely a steal. Next up, we got Robert Covington. Now, like, some people might like Ariza better, but Robert Covington has some of the better defensive animations in the game, as he usually does. He's only 6'7", but he has that super stocky like player build that Rocco is kind of known for. There's a reason this card gets hyped up in 2K. Like, he's super muscular. He kind of looks like a little muscle hamster almost. But he's a beast, dude. He went to Tennessee State? That's tight. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Robert Covington is an inspiration. 94 three-pointer, jump shot 63, which the last card we've seen with jump shot 63 was Otis Birdsong and TJ Warren. So it's kind of a weird release, but on Very Quick, it's actually very good. I do notice because of the high arc, he misses not a terrible amount of whites, but a little bit more than average on current gen. That's just my own opinion. Maybe that's off a little bit, but he makes up for it by just the impeccable defensive skills and the fact that it's really hard to get around this dude because he's so stocky and muscular with his player build. He's really good. And if you're looking for a defensive stopper at the small forward and you don't like any of the other options, like, yeah, this is the man right here. Scottie Pippen from the Enshrined set. This card is so good. This card is so good, man. I like Scottie Pippen a lot this year. Like, I'll be honest. I really do. I'm probably higher on the Scottie Pippen cards this year than a lot of people are. I think I was higher on Scottie Pippen last year than a lot of people were. He has some of the best defensive animations in the game, and that's not even counting just steal and block animations. He also has incredible animations that trigger when, let's say, the offensive player tries to drive around Scottie Pippen. He has incredible defensive animations that trigger where he stays in front of them. Like I said, I've always wanted them to post the defensive animation SIGs just so I can figure stuff like this out, because they don't ever post those, and I wish they would, because there are signature defensive animations. Like Kawhi and Scottie Pippen are two excellent examples. AI and Michael Jordan are two other ones, while they have specific animations that work very well for them. And Scottie Pippen does that. He's also incredibly well-rounded. I mean, he's more of a 3-and-D cone than anything, and like I said, he's got that slower jump shot. He's got jump shot 30 on quick. Obviously, the other Scottie Pippen, I believe, does he have it on very quick? I have to check the Opal real fast. No, it's just on quick, so he's got the same jump shot. He's basically the exact same. With a Rudy Gay upper, too, so that kind of helps out a little bit. I think Scottie Pippen's a nightmare, man. He's so good. Like, any of my squads that are budget-based in any way, shape, or form, I use Scottie Pippen. He's super good. I used him in Limited all week. I was loving this card. He was green in shots. There's absolutely nothing this card can't do. He's just not the best dribbler, but 99 pass interception, 99 on-ball steal, 99 shot contest, 99 block shots. And I promise you, like, looking at Dark Matter T-Mac, the reason I have him up is because defensive stats-wise, he is better than Scottie Pippen at everything. But I can tell you without certainty that Scottie Pippen is a better defender than this Tracy McGrady card. And it has to be because of the animations, which is why I want them to start posting the defensive SIGs when cards go up on like 2KDB and stuff like that. So, man, if the person who runs 2KDB, I'm sure they're not watching this video, but if they are, please start getting a hold of those defensive SIGs, because we have to know. Because if we can figure those stuff out, like we can figure out why cards are better defenders than other cards, that would be fantastic. Come on, you knew there wasn't going to be a cheap lose list without my boy Tracy McGrady out here. Diamond T-Mac is super good. Now, I will say, I am not completely insane. Like, I am aware that there are some issues here with Diamond T-Mac. Obviously, he's not as good as either the Opal or the Dark Matter. Now, he's not that far off from the Opal, and he's a lot closer to the Dark Matter than you think. Obviously, it's not incredibly close, but, you know. He's more, the weird thing about this T-Mac is he is going to be more of a 3-and-D cone. As far as the way he handles, it's going to be more similar to the Pink Diamond T-Mac earlier this year, but with significantly better stats and badges. He's fast. He can shoot threes. Now, the thing is he is not going to be speed boosting and curry sliding around the court. That's what makes this a budget T-Mac, and that's specifically what 2K did to make sure you still went to go pay a bunch of MT for the other Tracy McGrady's. That's basically how they made this card still very good, but also worse than the other ones at the same time. And truly, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, I seem to green a lot like harder with this Tracy McGrady than I do with like even the Opal and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't really know what that's all about. Like, I don't know if that's something mental or what's going on with that, but he just seems like he greens a little bit more for me personally. It's probably just me. I don't know what it is, but This Tracy McGrady is more of a 3-and-D Tracy McGrady, like I said, but he's elite, man. He's elite defensively. He's elite. Basically, when it comes down to him and Scottie Pippen, like, Scottie Pippen is a better defender, and he's got better defensive animations, but Tracy McGrady has a better jump shot. So it's kind of like, which one do you prefer? Like, Tracy McGrady is no slouch on defense, but he's no Scottie Pippen, but his jumper is much better. So whatever you think you want, I would say that. And number 1 is Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, look, realistically, is Hakeem as good as some of the cards that I just mentioned? Sort of, but not really. The reason he's number 1, I would say, is because there's just no center in this game that brings you what Hakeem brings you for this price point. 7 feet tall, 81 3-point shot with gold range. Not terrible whatsoever. He can handle the ball. He can pass. Like, he's got that giant Hakeem player build. Like, this card is absolutely elite, man. And the fact that you can get him for, what, 5 to 7K is... It's frankly silly. Like, it's silly that you could even do that. He plays effectively both at the power forward and the center position, depending what you want to do with him. Good defensive tendencies. 89 speed is not terrible for a card that you can buy for this price. Like, it's not. Badge-wise, 28, 29 on current, so he's got 28 hops, 29 golds. Pretty much all the badges that you'd want him to have, he does have in some way, shape, or form, especially defensively, as every defensive badge. And as far as shooting badges with a slower jump shot, you want him to have Deadeye, clutch shooter just in case too. But he doesn't really need too much, like, realistically. He is that good. I don't think there's a center in this game that you can get for this price that's as good as Hakeem. There's not a card in this game for their position that you can get that's as good as this Hakeem. And anybody who has a budget squad of any, I don't know, amount could use this Hakeem to improve their squad. And that is why he was number 1, no question. And honestly, set shot 18 on quick is not very bad. Or on very quick is not bad. This Hakeem is better than the Opal Hakeem, no question. So, as always, it has been your boy, Cheap Ludes. Thank you for watching the video. I will be back with more content later. And like I said, this week I'll be putting out a lot of content on both my channel and the second channel. I have a lot of things working now that I've got my situations taken care of. So, stay tuned for that. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Check the description for all my stuff, and I'll be back tomorrow. Peace, guys.